I also know she's just like, why are you doing all this? Like, why are you working so hard to make like you could go get a job to make twice as much, work way less, and have way less stress. It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
What I'm trying to get at is this. No matter what, people listening to this, everyone on Facebook Live, the people that watch us in the future, like everyone's running their business and they want to know how to hire, how to fire, how to figure out good employees and bad employees, and how to deal with catastrophes. Dan, you and I, we talked about it. We're gonna address it later on, right? With some of the stuff you're going through your business, right? Like there's a lot of things going on. What I'm asking is, every night when you finally log off at 9:39 p.m., right? And you got your wife and your kids there. I know you're a good dad. I know you're a good husband. I know you are. You're one of the best men I've ever met. But I want people on this podcast to see and hear how you balance it. Like, talk about what they mean to you and how it impacts your business. Because it's second nature to you. You just don't talk about it all the time because no one asks you to. Like, no one says, hey, Dan, like, tell me about your family. Tell me about how they impact what you're doing, but you're doing this for them. So talk about why it matters to them. Talk about why it matters to you, and do a 120-second sign off on why you're doing what you're doing.
What the hell world do you think we live in that you'd be like, hey, Dan, do a 2-minute sign off? That's even a possibility for me to explain a thing in less than 2 minutes.
You're right. Take 5 minutes.
I'm going to take as long as I need to, but I think that's a super interesting question. And you're right. Like, nobody does this business thing. Not like, I shouldn't say nobody. There's plenty of people that do this business thing in a way that's like, I'm going to go out and do this thing to be as profitable as possible. And that's the goal. And I'm going to steer everything around that. And I like fucking capitalism. Let's go, baby. I have nothing wrong with that. My view, like, I left a job that paid me twice as much as I make now. It's not about making money for me. It's about trying to teach my family to go add value to other people's lives. I don't volunteer for stuff to go make money. Right? I volunteer for stuff to go help people and teach people that that's the right thing to do, that there's a lot of good shit to go invest your time into. And I want my kids to see that thing. And I want my wife to see that thing as an inspiration to them, that it's not just like, that's really easy for me to say because my wife makes twice as much money as I do. And if she didn't, and I had to make all the money, I'd probably have to go do something else because otherwise I couldn't afford to hunt and fish as much as I do. Thank you, Marty. I love you. But to me, and Josh Latimer says it best. Shout out Josh Latimer and all the different podcasts that he's done and all the impact that he's made on so many of us. I didn't think of it this way until he said it, and it's always struck with me that like everything I do is just to show off for my wife, right? Like it's all a thing that I do so that my wife thinks I'm just a badass. Even though like secretly, I also know she's just like, why are you doing all this? Like, why are you working so hard to make like you could go get a job to make twice as much, work way less, and have way less stress and do whatever you want to do. But the work wouldn't be fulfilling, right? It wouldn't help nearly as many people and it wouldn't be mine. It would be somebody else's and I'd just be doing it for them. And so there's just nothing sexy about that to me. And I like, so there's a huge part of it to me that's to impress my wife, just flat out. Like I'm not the ultimate, but like I try to be alpha male. Keith Kalfas always says that to me whenever like he and I have private conversations. He's like, dude, you're like the ultimate alpha male. And I was like, I don't like try to be, but at some point, like Cory, you know, my dad, like that rubbed off on me. My dad calls himself the alpha male.
That man scares me to death. So, yep.
Yeah, like he intends to be the alpha male, and I have never met a male that would outseed him from being the alpha male. Like that's just the role he's gonna play. He's always gonna try to be the alpha male, and I think that rubbed off a little bit on me for sure. But so like there's an importance to me to be like in front and being the one that takes all the shots and takes all the hits and insulates everybody else. And I want my family to see that. And I want my employees to see that. And I'm okay being vulnerable. I want them to also know when I'm taking shots that like, hey, this sucks. I'm okay with them seeing me get the shit kicked out of me, but like, I'm still going to be their leader, and it's okay to get the shit kicked out of us every once in a while, because what's more important than getting the shit kicked out of you is getting up. There was a time, Cory, you ever water skied?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know me on a lake.
I water skied with you before.
Well, I think you probably water skied. I don't think I did.
I water skied. You drank in the boat.
Yeah. I don't water ski. If I'm on a lake, I'm fishing.
Right.
When Danny was like 2 years old, we were on a lake with Marty, my wife Marty, her brother, and his in-laws. And they're driving the boat, and they're more like boaters. They're not fishing people, they're boaters, and so they want to water ski. And I'm like, I'm an athletic dude, like I can water ski, right? I felt like trying to get up the first like dozen times. And I'll say I had a little bit of poor instruction. Once like somebody like carved the needle, like, oh, just do this. It was like, oh, like, why didn't somebody just tell me that? If that was what I needed to do, I could have done it. I was like fighting the water the whole time. 12 times I fell in a row, but my 2-year-old was in that boat. And there was no fucking way I wasn't getting up the 13th time. Man, you should have seen my legs. A couple times when I spilled, like the skis would smack, like you've seen my legs, Cory. My legs are no joke. They're just like bald. I'm like Emmett Smith, but white and 5'10". And my legs are just like built like shit brick houses, right? So like when those skis would hit my legs, I had just these basketball-sized purple welts all over my legs. But I just kept going because it wasn't about what happened, right? Super, like, I don't give a shit about water skiing. I don't give a shit about water skiing, but I give a shit about getting up. And so it wasn't about, like, finally I got up on like the 12th try, and we went around the lake once, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Let's go fishing. Why does anybody water ski? Let's go do something meaningful. But it wasn't about water skiing. It was about getting up. And so back to like, why do we do this for our families and for our employees and just all the people we're trying to send a message to? Is it's not about what happens. I mean, it is in this case, Cory, but it's about how we respond. And it's always about how we respond. And shit's going to happen, and we can't control everything. We sure as hell are going to learn, and we're going to keep getting better, but we continue to have to get up, and we continue to have to like fight to set an example. And so like, that's the message I send to my family. That's why we do what we do. That's why we fight. That's why we like go try new things and get out of our comfort zone. Is we just got to keep like pushing an envelope to set an example, to let people know it's okay to fail. And it's not about failing. You just got to fucking get up and keep her going.
Dan, that's why I asked you the question, man, because people watch this and they're looking for motivation as to how to build their business and make things work. And at the end of the day, you're the only person I know that the only thing they know is get the fuck up.